the Autolyse salad. And I want to add just a little bit of water. You see the difference in the texture of the dough immediately. Smooth, silky. Remember I was describing that it'll become silky, and that's because the protease starts to work. It's because the starch becomes nicely hydrated. And I'm just adding a tiny bit of salt. If you add too much water, if you add too much, you end this like SeaWorld, you know, you have a splash of like water splattering all over the place. So just a tiny little bit, you're kind of trying to make a bit of a paste. And I'll go into speed 2. And I want to do speed 2 for 2 to 3 minutes. It's change in the cleanliness of this dough without any motion whatsoever is remarkable. It has gone from really rough, even lumpy, to now it's super silky. That's hydration of the starch, and it's also the protease in action. Those words, whenever you see words in bread baking, whenever you see words that end in A's, you're talking about enzymes. Whenever you see words that end in O's, you're talking about sugars. Enzymes turn parts of the flour into sugars. Protease turns protein into sugar. Sugar feeds the yeast, and yeast provides leavening. Yeah. So when you think about, you learn that, right? That sugar feeds yeast. Yeast is fed by simple sugar, and in some recipes we add sugar. Here we've added no sugar. So something needs to happen inside here to feed our yeast, and that's enzymatic activity. And the enzymatic activity turns, in this case, protein into sugar, which feeds the yeast. So it's a pretty quick mix. 6 minutes before, 30 minutes or so of Autolyse, and then 2-3 minutes at speed 2. Nice sticky dough. It's coming together nicely. I just needed to scrape it one time. I may need to do one more scrape. When you start to hear that, flap, flap, that's good. We like that. Cleaning up the bowl nicely as well. Oh, also, when we're in the rotation, we've got 4 mixers, we've got 4 teams. We like this, one team uses one mixer. And if you've got an Autolyse dough, you're able to start mixing it. I did Autolyse in the mixing bowl, but it is also possible to take the dough out of the bowl into a bin, into a bus pan, and then put it back. So you're not having to tie up the bowl. We do have a couple of extra bowls kicking around, so that's possible too. I borrow one from the main kitchen. So here we're looking for kind of a medium development. We're not looking for intensive development. Intensive we do for some of our rye breads, we do for the challah, we do for the brioche, we do for your pan bread. Did you make a pan bread? Yeah, intensive mix, right? Here we're not looking for intensive mix. We're looking for a window that is. I like having my fingers quite wet to the window. Yeah, so some development, but it's not. It's a little bit. It has a little tendency to tear, and it's a little bit webby. Yeah, it's a little bit webby. It's not short mix. We do some ciabatta francese, one of the baguettes, short mix, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes speed 1, 2 minutes speed 2. You can barely do a window. Short mix, soft consistency. It's like trying to shape a milkshake when you get it in the oven, but it's magnificent. It's beautiful, big open crumbs, super airy. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You're not always looking for that. I see on Instagram now, I don't know, just like the sourdough croissant. It's my personal preference, but I don't know, some things are good sourdough, some things are good not. Some things are good with big airy crumbs, some things a little bit less, yeah. I'm ready to go. Now, the next thing, I just want to show you one little thing that's a little thing about just managing the workload in a bakery. So we scaled our ingredients. I like to scale all the ingredients in these bins. And the smaller ingredients, flour, yeast, etc., in deli containers this way. That means that we can have, and of course, if we're scaling today and we're mixing the dough tomorrow, which will happen every day when you're in the rotation, we don't scale water the day before. The water we scale the day of, we calculate the water temperature. Now, so now we've got all these bins that have a little bit of flour inside them. The temptation, see, is to just put this in the dish and somebody will wash it. We're going to need to do bulk fermentation on this dough, and that bulk fermentation is going to happen on this bin. Here we have a staff of people who are literally just waiting for us to bring dishes over to them. But in the bakery, you might be the person doing the dishes. So why dirty this one, then dirty another one? So let's take a small container with, grab me a deli container.
Shall we cover it with the bag? Very wet.
So a deli container, we can prepare one of these every day, and sometimes we can even reuse it. A little bit of canola in the bottom, and then one amount of paper towels, 3 paper towels. We should be able to, every team, make every bread with, prepare it for bulk fermentation with about this amount of oil, maybe a little more, and 3 paper towels, rather than everybody taking more oil, everybody taking more paper towels. You know, I'm not trying to save the world with paper towels here, but it's small things like this, right? If we're trying to get better about our consumption. So, and then we'll just prepare the bin with oil and the paper towel so that we can then do some folds and take the dough out of our container nicely. Does this make sense to you as well? Yeah, let's try to do that. All right, so my dough is ready. I may just come over here. So like I said, these doughs are typically quite soft compared to the doughs that you've made to this point, I think.
Let's just hang it here.
So rather than trying to lift it out of the bowl, it's not a bad idea to have your bin down here. Oil. For those doughs, this one I think we do a single fold only. Some doughs we do 3 folds, like ciabatta, like baguette. So for those, it's nice to have a little bit more oil in the bin. You can see it's quite soft, quite sticky. Not quite a milkshake like the ciabatta is, but close. And it feels to me like this is a lot easier than trying to lift it. Just put it in the we prefer spiral mixers for bread. But the advantage of an orbital like this is we can do that. So now I have my dough here, but it's a little bit rough. It needs a little bit of organizing in the bin. So with wet fingers, I'll just give a little bit of a fold. Those giving me quite a lot of resistance, and that's good. But I do want to organize it a little bit in my bin. A little bit of water on top, a tray bag on top of this. Label here. Again, we're going to have, on any given day, we're going to have between 12 and 16 different breads being fermented. So we need to make sure that everything is nicely labeled. And it's preferable for me if you label the bin and not the bag. Because the bag, once you've got a label on it, you have to throw it away. and also the bags can get mixed. So please label the bin. Pain Levain, I'll write Pain Levain demo today's date, and I'll put it for bulk fermentation. Sounds good?
Good, chef.
Very good. Once you reach Autolyse stage with your dough, we can do a little bit of a cleanup. We'll take about 20 minutes. Break. We'll come back, finish the mixing, and move on to some more recipes. Sounds good?
Chef.
I know that you've listened to me talk a lot.